have been put in so many boxes and labels in my life during this educational process. So many, you know, being black, being colored, being a Negro, all of that. Being a woman, being a black woman. I have gone through the system, but I'm still here. I'm still standing, tall like a tree. Just look at me. I'm still standing, arms so high, high in the sky that nobody can deny that I'm beautiful, bold, and brilliant, badass Nubian queen. I had gone to a spiritual retreat, and they had a table discussion going on talking about the things that had scarred you and you had never talked about. And you know what it was? Longwood University. That was the first major scar that I got that I really recognized because of the color of my skin. And I had written, I wrote another letter in between all that and asked for an honorary doctorate. I had to write and request it. And they had all this information, and they had nothing about it. What's happening with that? Miss Jubilee, just be patient. Something's happening. Okay, it's going to be good. You're going to love it. Okay. And then finally, he said, you will receive an honorary doctorate on May the 19th of 2024. And I said, okay. And I was so, it was like a burden had been lifted from my heart and it's like, I feel like I had trauma in my cells. I had trauma in my cells from that scar. And I had never processed it. And that was what, 2024. Incident happened in 1964. Look how many years that was. But what I'm saying is, when things are meant to happen, it will be revealed. You will be shown what to do. Just trust the process and keep on moving.
Last year, we collaborated with her and their Triple C team to put on a Juneteenth celebration in July of 2024. We had Dr. Opal Lee, mother of Juneteenth, grandmother of Juneteenth rather, show up and attend as well. So we just have really never fallen out of contact.
My knowledge of Dr. Imajin Jubilee is one of those great things in life where sometimes life, I think, just works out in ways it's meant to be. About 2 years ago, I had a couple of students who wanted to tell the story of Twin Lakes State Park. Cole Pillow and Kendall Clapham did a documentary, and it was really about her father and his role as part of the CCC to build Twin Lakes State Park. And so they went out there at one point and did an interview where there was 5 different generations of the Jubilee family in one room. And so they produced this great documentary on the history of Twin Lakes State Park.
Long story short, I was photographing the volunteer efforts at Twin Lakes State Park, and they were giving a tour of the museum, and they had signage and things they were talking about how Dr. Jubilee's father helped build the park and stuff like that. So that's originally how I got the idea, and then she connected me with Dr. Jubilee.
She was singing the praises of my students and said, you know what, if you ever have some students in the future that I can work with again and we have projects, I would love to do that. And so then about a year ago, she was planning an anniversary of the Juneteenth, and she wanted to honor Dr. Opal Lee, who's considered the grandmother of Juneteenth. And so at Twin Lakes State Park, which means something personally to her, she organized an event in the summer over the July 4th weekend where she invited Dr. Opal Lee there to talk about her journey as a grandmother of Juneteenth. She was looking for a student to document that. And I had a student, George Gaston, who was fit the perfect bill. He had the ability and he had the availability do this documentary, and so he worked with her all semester and did that.
Yeah, so I met Dr. Imajin Jubilee in November of 2023 over an email. We had been connected through a mutual friend who told me about this really amazing Juneteenth celebration that was happening at Twin Lakes State Park. And so I got to talking with her. she told me all about kind of her vision and how she loves to document things because, you know, they become immortal once they're documented. So I was in the market to create a documentary, got connected with her, who is just one of the most amazing people in the world, and we had been basically connected at the hip ever since.
And again, sang his praises and was just thrilled to work with him. And so then she came to me and I kind of talked to her a little bit about someone needs to do a documentary on your story. So the relationship continues.
I am breaking an ancestral pattern. Maybe that's the way I need to describe it. Because it is. It's an ancestral pattern for, as a black woman, not only your voice, I'm fifth generation. That ancestral pattern is broken. I was turned down because I was black. But look where I stand today. Longwood University made up for it. Longwood University recognized that they needed not only correct it for me, but for all the other, my black brothers and sisters that had gone through injustices. And that allowed me to see that what you do, going back to purpose and service, is not all the time about you. When you get an idea and it keeps persisting in your mind, heart, and spirit, it becomes about everybody else. It becomes about everybody else.